Hello. So, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to say that. So, my name is Jezreel, and this is day 31 of the 75-day Spirit Baby Devotional. And I am the Spirit Baby Auntie. This is my second time recording this message. So, hi. My first recording was, I want to say, very beautiful. I suppose it was just for myself, because it got deleted because I need to clear up space on my phone. So I'm going to put a mental note to go ahead and plug my hard drive in and clear the space. And yeah, so today's episode, I want to just acknowledge big feelings. If I'm being honest, my feelings weren't that big. I was kind of just really disappointed in having to re-record because we did a drop-in meditation. Well, I guess it was just a depth for myself, and just honoring that, because it's everything happens the way it's supposed to. But so the meditation itself brought me to my body and brought me really present with the energy of the color red. And if you know anything about the chakra system, now I'm sitting here wondering if you can hear me because the microphone is on the ground. But if you know anything about the chakra system, the first chakra, the root chakra, is the color red. And I'm gonna take these off. Although they're fire. The ring light. There's always a ring in the glasses, and I just don't like it. But I was holding the visualization of being surrounded in the red light as if I was in the womb of Earth herself. And I have decided to just go on that channel. I read from the Spirit Babies book, and this chapter was on the I guess the bigness of emotions karmically for spirit babies, and how if it's not dealt with in the spirit baby realm, that when they do come earthside, it can manifest in their feelings. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, really. And yesterday, for day 30, I was expressing how everything that I have been speaking of, or just speaking as much as I have, I feel as though it has caused a little stress on my throat chakra, because I'm not used to being this vulnerable, this open, and this honest with expressing myself. And I have some tea. And it made me just think of the amount of space that I have given myself to take up, and the amount of space that children take up in general when they incarnate in this life. For instance, my baby in the background enjoying himself on, I don't know what game he's playing, but he's having such a great time. And yeah, I'm hearing the channel of "Why so serious? Now raise your glass if you're all grown in all the wrong ways. All my under," something like that. "We will never be anything Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 raise your glass. Dun, 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 raise your glass. So if you're too cool for school and you're treated like a fool. Thank you, Pink. I didn't pink cup. Oh. But also just play more. Play. Why so serious? Like, why are you so serious? Yeah. Your spirit baby said, please play. Or you gonna make me mad. You gonna make me mad if you gonna take up space. You gonna make me mad if you don't talk your shit. You gonna make me mad if you don't pop your shit and be yourself. You gonna make me mad because you know who you are. Because they know who you are. My spirit baby knows who I am. I know this spirit baby has been walking with me for a very long time. And yeah, the channel of holding space for what I need to say and honoring that I've always wanted a YouTube channel, but I've been afraid of success, is really big. And it's a part of my soul aligned path in this world. And it's just being in front of a camera and connecting with people all over the world. So hey friend, hey sis, hey cousin. I have the desire to do that. And I have also I've treated motherhood or just embraced motherhood as a way of martyrdom, which I feel is pretty common, where I've allowed myself to really just, quote unquote, die in vain. And when I say die, it's also make me think of the death card in the tarot. But when you become a mother, everything that was who you were before is no longer. Like I still feel like myself, especially now. I'm almost 6 years postpartum. But I was walking down the street. We were walking our dogs, my son, my husband, and I. And me and my husband were doing something. And then what happened? I decided, so somebody's house is for rent, and the rent sign was way up the street, in the middle of the street. So I was like, okay, I like to mind my business, but I'm not minding my business on this. So I picked the sign up, and I turned around to walk it down to the house where I know it came from. And my son says, well, I'm going with my mommy. And it was just so cute. And obviously, like, I know I'm his mom, dude. But it's still just the nature of, I'm really his mom. And I also feel like myself, and it's holding the 267, holding the duality of that, I suppose. The duality of what? Of my maiden self and my mother self, and allowing all the dreams that I had as a young Ren, as Jezreel Young, before I became Jezreel Bell, before I became mommy. Holding those dreams and embracing them as still possible, and living in that without this silent brew of resentment. I've had a lot of postpartum rage. That was my experience with postpartum depression and postpartum grief and the transition into motherhood. I had rage, like, just, and I didn't know much about it, honestly. I wasn't informed. I wasn't really privy to the hormonal cascade of just anything. Like, I know I'm hormonal, but I used to take offense when people would be like, oh, you just had a baby, or like, she's on her period, because it always just felt so demeaning. But there's also just very real truths behind it all. And the way I experienced grief was frustration and anger and not being able to channel it sacredly or understanding it with love and compassion. And that is something I'm with right now. And a part of living my life prior to embracing motherhood in that layer of bringing forth, creating a womb within my womb, there's a lot of feelings I have to see through. There's a lot of self I have to bloom into, not because I feel like it's the right time. Once I become that version of self, it'll be the right time for me to bring another baby into the world. Like, no, because that version of myself is that baby's mom. That is. And there's this internal need of seeing it through, of executing. And a part of that is channeling my sacred energy in these messages, and speaking and advocating. Because a lot of my purpose is fueled by my soul's rage from just being a woman. This isn't my first incarnation as soul. Excuse me, confirmation burp. And it was just 11:33 on the timer. This isn't my first incarnation as soul. And the very first time that I listened to her story and I really read about the burning times and sat with the witch trials and understandings of how women have been wiped, like there are generations, just cultures of women wiped from history, from her story. That is her story. She was wiped from history because of patriarchy, to put it plainly put. I felt it so deep in my body that it just really, it woke something up in me. And a lot of that has everything to do with honoring women as they are, honoring motherhood as a sacred rite of passage, honoring the period, having a bleed. Dude, I love my period so much, and that's a new thing for my whole lineage. Like, I've never heard a woman in my family ever say that, and I want to be able to cultivate the space for my daughter to understand that. But not just my daughter, for women around the world, for women in my community, for women who find these videos to really find the sacred within being a woman. And also back to advocacy, being a sacred birth worker, that's because I'm mad. I am genuinely frustrated with the system. I am genuinely frustrated with the fact that the statistics are the statistics. I am genuinely frustrated when I listen to women's traumatic birth stories and it be told casually, and they not even have the ability to hold compassion for the fact that it didn't have to go that way. However, it's so normal that women push past being present in their real experiences in life, in their real story, because they have to keep going. And yeah, sacred rage, sacred rage, sacred rage. And there's a chapter in this book, it's on abortions, and it's about the angriest spirit baby that this clairvoyant had ever seen. And the spirit baby, his story begins with his mom being ready to bring another baby into the world because she just felt like, I'm missing somebody. And she was, and it was this spirit baby. And when the clairvoyant, which his name is Walter, when Walter was looking in her aura, he was like, I don't see no spirit baby, so we're gonna have to call one in. And then the energy slaps him upside his head. And then he goes on to explain to Walter that, I was supposed to be the firstborn. Everybody loves firstborns. And she decided to get an abortion. So, I'm still here, but she got to wait because she made me wait. And with his anger, he deprived himself of becoming the firstborn, which is what he wanted. But he was taking it out on her because it's like, what the fuck? But then they go through this guided meditation where she's able to be with him and promise him their future with her love and her compassion, like opening up her heart chakra to really hold space for the hurt that he's feeling. And I thought it was a very profound chapter. So if you do have your own Spirit Babies book, this is on page 116. It's about Ruth and her little baby boy. And after I read that, it made me think about the importance of being with your Earthside babies. Because when they do come Earthside, you have to be with their fullness expression of human. And as it is said, that what's not dealt with in the spirit, you know, it's dealt with Earthside. And if your spirit baby has karma from the lifetimes before, from its experience with you and the conception process, whatever, y'all's previous lifetimes relationship, and they incarnate, and you have this angry child or anything of the sort, regardless. It is important, and this is coming directly just as a channel, like it is important that you have the capacity to hold space for the array of emotions that is true, that comes through you and your baby. Your baby doesn't need to villainize any type of emotion that they ever feel because of your inability to hold them. How do you hold space for anger, for your own anger? How do you hold space for your own sadness? How do you hold space for your happiness? Do you hold space for happiness? What if you have the happiest baby that has ever existed? The happiest child that has ever existed. Ever. How do you hold space for that much sunshine? Truly. Yeah. So that is a call of action to just be with what it means to hold space for all emotions, because all emotions are sacred. And that is the truest message that your spirit baby has for you today, has for me today, has for us. And that just is, so yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And if you would like to book a discovery call with me to maybe journey with me as your doula, it's in the description box below. Let's go ahead and book that call and talk about it, talk about your visions, and see if we're a good fit. And I'll be having an ebook drop soon. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to drop the ebook. I am someone who has had a hard time accepting help or knowing how to ask for help or knowing how to even dive deep into myself, slow down, and understand what I need as help. And I have created the ebook that I needed as a new mom, that I, as a mom now, need. And I'm excited to share it with you. So please stay tuned, and I will see you again tomorrow on day 32. And yeah, oh my God, subscribe. This is my YouTube channel. It's my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Period. Okay, so much love.